Good afternoon. This is Mara Grjanik. I want to welcome you to just a lunch short with me the day before spring break, St. Patrick's Day. I thank you for being with me today. Today, we're going to talk about the power of being in nature. Doesn't seem like it's a big, important thing, but I'm going to tell you that there is scientific evidence that being in nature actually improves your health and helps you cope with anxiety. And seemed like a really good topic to talk about the day before break. So I love this quote: time spent among the trees is never wasted. Kind of supports our discussion today about why would we want to help our teens get out and spend some time in nature, especially now that they are going to have, as someone said the other day, a 10-day weekend. So, why would we want our teens to spend some time in nature? It really does uh, impact how much stress, because different environments have a different impact on our stress levels. What we're seeing and hearing and experiencing at any moment is changing, right? And so all of that is sort of feeding us information, and it impacts our mind. It also impacts our nervous system, our immune system, everything about ourselves. And so the stress of an unpleasant environment can cause ourselves, everybody, you, your team, to feel anxious or sad or even helpless. And it can elevate your blood pressure and your heart rate. And actually, kind of, if you're in a really tense situation, do you feel yourself kind of doing this? You tense up, your muscles tense up. But nature actually is very healing. It contributes to our physical sense of well being, reduces our blood pressure and our heart rate. It can reduce the production of stress hormones. And even if you're sitting in a room, that's why I've made my background plants, even sitting in a room that has one live plant in it can significantly reduce our stress, because nature soothes. It can help us cope with pain, because we are literally, this is interesting, it's an interesting study, we are actually genetically programmed to look for trees, plants, and water, and any kind of nature, because they had a study of patients in the hospital who had a window to like nature outside of them and a window that didn't lead to nature. And the patients who looked at nature got better faster than the patients who didn't look at nature, because nature really restores us. And when we spend some time outside, our mood improves. When we are looking at nature or looking at scenes in nature, we actually are better able to pay attention, and it like reduces our mind from overthinking. So when we spend time outside, it allows us to connect a little bit better. And when we look at nature scenes, our in our brain, like when you're looking at this lovely picture of leaves, the parts of your brain that are associated with empathy and love, they light up. So it's good to connect ourselves with nature and with things that will give us positive feelings of positivity. There actually is a study about how much time you should spend in nature. And pardon me, that is 2 hours a week. Not more, but not less. More won't hurt you, but the threshold for benefits is 2 hours a week. to reduce stress and promote healing. It was actually, this 120 minutes came from a guy named Matthew White, and he came from the University of Exeter, and he studied 200,000 people. And the people who spent 2 hours a week in green spaces, like local parks or any kind of other natural environment, substantially were more likely to report good health and psychological well-being than those who didn't. Now, there was no benefit to spending more than 2 hours outside, but if you didn't spend at least 2 hours outside, there was no benefit. So there's another study that actually says that listening to nature sounds benefits you as well. So 2 hours a week. If you think about 2 hours a week is 120 minutes. If you give yourself a day off to not go outside, and you just say six days a week, right? It's about 20 minutes a day. So 20 minutes a day, take a day off, maybe because it's raining or whatever, spend 20 minutes outside, reduce stress, better physical well-being. It's pretty good. So now we have talked a lot about teens. Our teens want to be with their friends. They don't necessarily want to be with us. We are not the most popular people in the world, but that is because our teens are looking at their environment and their peers for cues on who do they want to be, how do they want to be in the world, how do they want to process themselves in the world. And so they don't find that in the family environment that they've been in all the time. They find that from looking at their peers. So we want our teens to be outside, get those good 20 minutes a day benefit. How do we do that? Well, we can ask our teen to bring a friend. Give them a couple options for being outside. We're going to have a whole week off. And I think that the weather's supposed to be pretty good. So invite their friends to come with you, or like do a picnic or experience some outdoor activity. The nice thing about us living in Lake County is that we have a lot of options. We're going to talk about that next. Give your teen some options for where to go. If your teen likes water, you can drive to, there's a forest preserve in Fort Sheridan that's right along the water, and they can actually literally, there's a bench that you can sit and you can look out at the lake, the vistas of the lake. If they like being in the trees, you can go to Daniel Wright Woods, or and you can be in the trees. If they like being on the plain, you can go to Buffalo Grove, to the savannah in Buffalo Grove, and you can walk, and it's all prairie. So give them some options about where they might want to go, or what they might want to do. So you empower them to figure out, like, what would you like to do? Maybe you have a super adventurous teen and you say, hey, we have a week. Do you want to drive someplace that you go on a hike somewhere, or you do something that's not just right in the backyard? Or maybe you have a teen that likes to do some kind of survival skills and you say, it's a nice day or it's a nice afternoon, let's cook outside, or let's do something adventurous outside, or go to one of the parks around here. Whatever you do, be prepared for reluctance, be prepared for your teen, because if you're not already someone that spends time outside, be prepared for your teen to be like, no, I don't want to do that. But you can even sneak it in. You can go for a walk with your teen. I mean, 20 minutes is not that long. You can go for a couple miles or a mile a day, and just walk with them and just ask them, how do you feel? Ask them to leave the iPod or the earphones or whatever at home and just walk with them and get to know them and talk with them about what are they thinking? What do they like? What are they, what are their friends like? Because getting outside more for our health, especially now that the weather is changing, is really beneficial. And it can help our teens sort of figure out a natural way to deal with maybe some stress, or maybe find a quiet place to think about things. So where in our area can we find nature? This is a map of Lake County, which is the county we live in, and all the places that you can go for free to a forest preserve. So you can go to the Lake County Forest Preserve and you can see a trail map of where you can be. There's also a group called 1000 Hours Outside, and they have their entire purpose is to match nature time with screen time. So if you spend 3 hours of time on your screen, you should spend 3 hours of time outside. That's a little bit lofty, but that's their whole thing. There's another place called Charity Miles and you can log on, and for every mile that you move or every mile that your child, like your teen, like runs or walks or whatever, they will donate to charity. So it's a partnership, and the whole idea is to get people outside and moving. The other thing is through Google, you can download Google Sky. And if you go outside on a clear night, it's nice now in the spring before the leaves get on the trees, and you can see the constellations outside. And if it's like I said, if it's a relatively warmer night, like last night was a great night to do it because there's not a lot of leaves on the trees, and you can put your longitude and latitude or let Google Sky see where you are. And then you look up at the sky and it'll tell you what the constellations are. So if you have a teen that's super into the constellations, you can do that and get outside. But overall, what I really want to just encourage you to do is to spend some time outside. Take this time, hang out outside with your teen. 2 hours, try to make it a habit. And I will see you on the Monday after we get back from break, and we will continue talking about wellness for our teens. In the meantime, I'd like to leave you with a little bit of nature from the program Sunday morning.